Welcome back to the video series for the 2025 Mystery Masquerade, an online Heroscape event where the twist is that all players remain anonymous until after the entire event. This is the third and final game of the round-robin stage of the event, and I'm facing a mysterious human known only to me as Venic Warlord. The map for this round is Draugr, though it has just treasure glyphs on it today. BOS on the bottom is the Brooch of Shielding, which gives disengage, and WOV on the top is the Whetstone of Venom, which is a temporary treasure glyph that deals 2 extra wounds if any wound goes through during the normal attack when it's used. I am once again facing an opponent whose pods have a lot of interaction with my pods. We see Venic has an Arrowgret pod with Swogs, which overlaps with my Death Chasers and Arrowgret's pods quite strongly, and to a lesser extent with Nerak from my Bladegret's pod as well. My Arrowgret's pod also overlaps with Venic Warlord's other 2 pods, as they both contain beasts. However, all of my beasts are large, so they're not going to bond with Awashia or Rakshot from those 2 pods. In terms of Venic's pods on their own, there's cross-synergy between all of them, really. The Arrowgret's pod has Anshu for both of the Dryan pods, and both of the Dryan pods have another beast for the Arrowgrets, and then all 3 pods have Wormlings. It is worth noting that this is a snow map, which is just great for Nerak and Ice Troll. Much like in the other games that I've played with 2 Arrowgret pods, the double Arrowgret combo feels like the strongest one out there. You'd get 4x Arrowgrets with 2x Swogs, an Ice Troll, Anshu, and then you block either of the Dryan builds from getting an Arrowgrets one, which means the draft should probably structure itself to prevent either player from getting that combo. I think the better of those 2 pods is going to be Venic's Arrowgrets with Swog's pod, which means that you either ban that pod or pick it first overall if it doesn't get banned, which will then give you a strong pod with synergy with all of the other pods and forces your opponent to deny the Arrowgret combo. So let's take a look at those 2 draft options. First, let's consider if the Arrowgret Swog pod isn't banned, so then it's taken first. I think there are 2 possible responses, either taking the other Arrowgret's pod or the Death Chaser's pod, and then expecting your opponent to probably ban the other. That decision feels really close to me. Both have hero-killing power that you'd want into the Dryans. I think I lean Arrowgrets because this is just a really good map for Ice Troll. If the Death Chasers are then banned, you then have a choice between Awashia and the Bladegrets build, and I think you need to take Awashia, as you get the extra Bonder with Otar for the Arrowgrets, and probably more importantly, it blocks the strongest remaining combo for your opponent, who then probably takes the Blades, though they could take Rakshot if they really want a Dryan, but I think the Blades is better, especially given that it is a snow map for Nerak. This draft feels like it yields a close game, but I think I prefer the second army with Arrowgrets and Awashia over the Arrowgrets with Blades. Now let's take a look at what happens if you ban Arrowgrets with Swogs. I think you just take the other Arrowgret's pod first, as it will still have synergy with whatever you get left with, and Ice Troll is still just really good here. I think the best response to that will be Death Chasers, as you don't want to let your opponent get them, and they're strong into both Dryan options, though the White Wormling vulnerability does loom large there. Then the person who has Arrowgrets has a choice to ban Blades or let you have them. If they ban Blades, Death Chasers will then take Awashia, and the Arrowgrets get stuck with Rakshot, which doesn't seem great, so they probably have to just let you have Blades, and then take Awashia themselves. But then you get a very consolidated army, with Death Chasers and Blades with Nerak and Swogs. I think I like being the second player better there as well. So that means that if I have the choice, I'll choose to pick second. But which route is better for the second player? I think the second one is, as Death Chasers plus Blades into scattered things feels quite strong. So if I am the second player, I'll ban the Arrowgret's Swogs pod to push us towards that draft tree. So that's the plan. In terms of Venek's true identity, yeah, I have no idea. It seems the Aerogruts are a popular choice this event, so that doesn't narrow too much down. And honestly, there's just not much point in spewing a random guess out there at this point anyways. Anyhow, let's hop on into the game and see how it goes. I lose the dice off, and Venek Warlord chooses to pick second, but bans my Aerograt pod instead of their own. I then pick their Aerograt pod, pretty happy to have gotten the one that I thought was the stronger of the two, and Venek then takes my Blades build. While I was expecting this to be Death Chasers, it won't make a big difference, as I can't ban Death Chasers or I get stuck with Rackshot, so I ban nothing, and Venek then takes Death Chasers, and I take Awashia. This draft went slightly off the tree I had pre-built, but not unreasonably so, meaning that we had both viewed the pods in a somewhat similar manner. So I have 2x Aerogruts with 2x Swags and Awashia, with Anshu, Otar, and 3 Wormlings, while Venek has 2x Death Chasers, 2x Blades, Narak, and 3 Swag Riders. In terms of sub-matchups I like and dislike, Awashia into Blades is a very good one for me, as they'll struggle to wound her with 2v5s. She'll be on water at a minimum, and the beasts can kill Blades well too. Death Chasers into Awashia is a bad one, as their 4 attack can kill her quickly, and I'd like to avoid that matchup at all costs. Aerogruts and Wormlings are okay into both, as they'll have a similar defense, so I'd like to trade those into Death Chasers if possible to set up the Awashia versus Blades endgame. I end up opening pure Aerogruts with the plan of trading into Death Chasers if Venek opens Death Chasers, and instead playing very conservatively if Venek opens Blades, developing Awashia's beasts in round 1 and then switching into Awashia for round 2. I see 3 order markers on Chasers, which is great, and they do their battle rush, and I then win initiative, which is unfortunate. If I'd lost this initiative, I think I would have been in an incredible position, as I could have denied any Death Chaser attacks this round and then hit them across the switch with Swags and Aerogruts to cripple that wave. But that's not what happened, and so I move up a Swag and 3 Aerogruts, hoping to threaten the Death Chasers if they develop too aggressively, and trying to leave my options open to either come in or retreat depending on what they do. Death Chasers bond with a Swag and bring it up the middle before advancing the Death Chasers a little bit. The next order marker for me is one of the more interesting decision points in this game. I can either be very aggressive and try to trade well into Death Chasers for the next 2 order markers, or retreat back and hope to deny an initiative switch's worth of attacks. If I didn't have any good attacks here, I think I should retreat, but I ended up seeing a spot where I could get 3 shots at the Swag, with 1 going into a Death Chaser if I got the Swag early. And if I got the Swag, only 1 Death Chaser would be able to hit a single Aerogrut. So I went for that, moving up my other Swag Rider to support the Aerogruts, getting a 3v5, a 2v4, and a 3v4 into that Swag, but missing all 3 attacks. I checked the math after, and it's basically 70% for me to kill the Swag here, with a 25% chance that I get the Swag and the Death Chaser. Honestly, it still feels close, though I think I like taking this risk, as 70-30s are generally going to be worth taking. But this time the 30%er comes in, and we're left in a pretty vulnerable spot. That Swag now comes in and takes the 4v4 on my Swag, killing it, and Death Chasers advance through that gap and kill the 1 Aerogrut. Not an ideal spot to find myself in. I decided to get aggressive here and go for kills, hoping to avoid the Death Chasers getting to my start zone off the initiative switch, and thinking that even if I retreated here, I wouldn't have enough of the Aerogrut core left to do damage next round. I send the Swag around to height and get the 4v3 kill on a Death Chaser, and then send the 2 developed Aerogruts forward to attack Death Chasers, and use 1 from the back to block the heighted spot next to Awashia, which is preventing a Swag from getting the 4v4 on her if they get the switch, as Awashia versus Blades is still my win condition, so I can't afford to take that risk with her. My Aerogruts roll hot this time and get both Death Chasers. Narak moves up, but I had positioned to be 1 outside of his threat range, and Death Chasers kill the Swag and a single Aerogrut. Going into round 2, my order markers are quite interesting here. I could try to sneak the order marker 1 on Arrowruts, but with both Swogs dead, their attacks aren't very good, so that has limited upside. I could go heavy with Awashia, but I'm still worried about Death Chasers killing her. So I end up going with the order marker 1 on White Wormling, the 2 on Blue Wormling, and the 3 on Awashia, with the X on Blue Wormling. My goals were to set up Wormlings to trade with the Death Chasers, and have some question about whether the order marker 3 was on Awashia or the Blue Wormling. With these order markers, I'm hoping to lose initiative, as Death Chasers can't hit my Wormlings yet. I see 3 order markers on Death Chasers again, and do lose initiative. A Swog develops up the top side, and Death Chasers develop a bit and kill the forward Arrowgret. My 1 is White Wormling, and I'm going to use both whites here, as I need to keep the blue safe for the next order marker. I send 1 just outside my start zone on height, blocking the Swog from getting height on Onshu or Otar, and taking the special attack, but I miss both shots. I just developed the other White Wormling behind him, where he's safe, as that gives me a guaranteed full activations on the following order marker, and my attacks for now aren't great anyways. Narak moves across the map to take Snow Height on the top side, and 1 Death Chaser engages the White Wormling, killing it off the 4v4. My 2 is on blue, and I send the White Wormling to the max height single hex spot, which gives it better defense, and lets Onshu take the same spot on the next order marker if it dies to a Death Chaser, but it misses both attacks. The Blue Wormling then engages several Death Chasers and takes its special attack, killing 1. This probably gives away the fact that my order marker 3 is on Awashia, but I also have to worry about blocking their attacks into her and the beasts. Order marker 3 is on the Death Chasers, and the Swog takes the 3v5 into the White Wormling and kills it. I was okay with him dying to a Death Chaser, but now that the Swog killed it instead, it means a Death Chaser can take its place and prevent Onshu from getting there. That does happen, and a Death Chaser also kills the Blue Wormling. My order marker 3 is on Awashia, and I'm in rough shape here, as Narak plus 3 Death Chasers is enough to kill her, but I have the potential for an initiative switch, and that's basically my route to winning, so I go for it, sending Onshu up to height to block for where Awashia will follow, but Onshu misses both attacks. Awashia then moves to the level 1 spot next to water, and throws her special attack into Narak and a single Death Chaser, and rolls a beautiful 4-for-4 skulls that one-shots Narak and also kills the Chaser. Holy hell, that was a swingy attack from Awashia. I end up putting a water tile under myself there, because a Death Chaser can get an even ground attack if they win initiative, and Awashia remains my only win condition here, so I can't take the risk of saving the water tile for later. Going into round 3, my order markers are easy now, as I just put them all on Awashia, and I see 1 order marker on Death Chasers and 3 on Blades. The 1 is probably on Death Chasers because of how good that is when they win initiative, so I focus on them, bonding with Onshu, who takes height, and kills both Death Chasers off the special attack. Damn, what an initiative switch. Awashia then follows Onshu, but whiffs the special attack into the Swog. But the order marker 1 was on Death Chasers and is burned. My 2 is Awashia, and I could send Onshu to hit Blades in the start zone, but then she'll get caught, and Awashia can't get a special attack into the Blades this turn. So I develop up Otar instead, and Awashia stays put, as she can reach all max height spots from there where she is, and kills the Swog Rider this time. Blades then develop up, but they don't have a bonding hero anymore. My 3 is Awashia, and I back up Onshu and Awashia here to deny the Blades any initiative switch potential, taking away one of the ways that they could have played for the high variance they need to get back in this. Blades then develop some more as they don't have any potential attacks. Going into round 4, I go with a bit of a weird order marker distribution, and I put the 1 and X on Arrowgruts and the 2 and 3 on Awashia, as I felt like Awashia wouldn't get an attack off on the order marker 1 anyways, and I could get some Arrowgrut development for free here, and I lose initiative, which is perfect. Blades develop up some more, mostly on the far side. My order marker 1 is Arrowgruts, and it's time to start attacking. I send Anshu to max height, where the blades can only get 2v4s into her, and she kills 2 of them off the special attack. Arrowgruts then develop up towards the plateau where Awashia is chilling. Blades come in and get 3 attacks into Anshu, but miss all 3 2v4s. My 2 is Awashia, and I bond with Otar this time, as Awashia will hit 2 of those 3 blades anyways, so I preferred getting the better attack on the last one, and I get the kill from the 5v2. Awashia then moves back to her water-adjacent spot and kills one of the other 2 off the special attack. I elected to put water under Awashia now, as I could get attacked from a blade, and I still need to reduce variance here as much as possible. There are 4 blades left, and they all come in, and deal 1 wound to Anshu, but none to Otar. My 3 is Awashia, and Otar kills another blade, and Awashia gets 2 more off the special attack this time. Going into round 5, I just put all order markers on Awashia, and I see 3 order markers on the Swag, and win initiative. I bring Anshu over to the height next to Otar, and get the last blade gret, and Awashia then ascends to height, joining her beasts on that max height ledge. The Swag moves up, but can't get any attacks yet. I send in Otar to finish the job, which he does, killing the Swag off the 5v3 and ending the game, as I move to 3-0 in the round-robin stage of this event, and will be moving on to the finals. The final game state doesn't look particularly close, but it definitely was, as I was a considerable underdog after missing the 70-30 into that Swag early on, until Awashia hit that clutch 4-for-4 to one-shot Narak and get back into the driver's seat there. In regards to Venic Warlord's secret identity, I have no idea. My official guess to Dicel, because I had to make one, was Shurig, which was somewhat based on the gameplay and the discussion after, but it's basically just a random shot in the dark, as there's just so many people Venic could be. Anyways, happy to close out my side of the round robin undefeated, and looking forward to the finals game.